Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Back here for Tournament Tuesday, and it's been a busy one here in Texas. As always, I'm joined by internet and PBA world personality and accomplished veteran now of the PBA and Weber Cup, Stu Williams. How are you, Beef Stew?
Pretty good. Yeah. A 10th frame last night changed my mood somewhat. Managed to strike out to snap off second spot, so that was nice. Definitely made it worth the trip down or trip up, should I say?
There you go.
I got to see the Newcastle Barnes, so that was a bit of fun.
A little smaller castle.
Yeah, but it's still pretty nice. Maybe not the it's not the what would you call it, Barnes Estates as it was before, but that has a lot of advantages.
It has a couple,
i.e., not having to need the gardener on call 24/7.
That helps. Excuse me.
So yeah, we had an interesting night. We both bowled, I think, pretty well. Yeah,
acceptable, I would say, in general. Not as happy a finish for myself, although mine wasn't so much the last game as it was the game before. But yeah, all in all, fairly pleased considering the field was basically looked like a PBA Tour stop.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just quickly go through the results last night. AJ Johnson won. He shot 303 over. He kind of put this one away early, shooting 835 to start with.
AJ Chapman.
Sorry, AJ Chapman. My bad.
Yeah.
I was second, 280 over. Dimitri Cruz, 276. Anthony Lavery Spa, 264. You at 248. Moldy, 232. Floris Lindemond, 226. Sean Lavery, 221. Derek Ray, 204. Tying with Mookie Betts. So yeah, we had 3 people on our pair cash last night. That was kind of fun. Here's my friend Sean, who's a Bills fan. Let's go Bills. Yep, they put on an ass whooping on the Patriots last night. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, they left tire marks. Yeah, it was an interesting night for JC Jackson last night. It looked like he was going to get paid. And then Stephon Diggs just changed his mind and got 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. So it didn't go so well for him later on.
Mr. Marquez speaking my language. There we go. So grass for lessons. There we go. All right. Yeah. I mean, this couldn't be more correct. AJ still is very much on fire.
Yeah, he's bowling great.
578 out of the gates. It was, I don't know, 9th frame of the 3rd game before he ever missed the pocket. And he has it going right now, and no more slow loop. It is firm with authority. It seems like everywhere we go now. And, yeah, it's getting it done.
Hello, Japanese bowler.
Glad to be joined around the world. A lot of our friends are from that area too. So
Weber Cup, Mr. Europe himself. Yep, I think we both had a pretty good good Christmas. Oh, here we go. Someone from Western Australia. Not quite daily yellow. Not sure how I would call that. What pattern did you bowl on, Stu and Chris, and what balls did you decide to go with? We bowled on a house shot. I went with Omega Crux, followed by Proton Physics.
And I threw an Aspect, followed by a Zen.
So Chris tended to go with the straighter route, and I went with the more of a detour. Yeah. We had one particularly fun game. It was fun for everybody on the pair, but Chris, he had a triple. He 9-pinned. He struck. He 9-pinned. He struck. And then he stone 8. At which point, when he stone 8, Mookie ran. um,
Well, when you consider that that was basically 53 pins off of the lead, 30 behind you at second, and all the other spots. That little
run was a bit of a problem.
It became a problem when the scoring pace is 240 and 250. It's
the thing that was most fun about the whole point was Mookie kept missing in, and he kept like being shocked when it struck, and I gave him a bit of a hard time about it. I'm like, you're the only one who's shocked when that strikes every time. And he's like, so then he starts laughing. So of course, the first time Chris leaves a 9-pin, it wasn't a great shot, and it held at 9-pin. And I go, Mookie to carried that. And at that point, Mookie was like, he was all in laughing about that. So how good is Mookie? Well, he's pretty good. He's not as good as he is at baseball. He's a bit better at the baseball.
That's probably fair.
And financially, that's definitely a good option.
But God bless him. He was happier about winning the high game pot, and he won the eliminator also, which does tell you something about him, because he was steady across the board every game.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an exceptional spare shooter for a guy who basically bowls for a month out of the year.
Yeah, for just quickly, he shot 213, 211, 236, 279, 243, 222. So,
yeah.
Right. Couple of questions. Jake is asking the same question the other way around. Have you drilled any Storm and Rotogrip balls yet, Christopher?
Yeah, that starts today, actually. So January 1st is our go date, and so there's some on the way. And my partner here and good friend was nice enough to bring one up, and we kind of swapped a couple of balls, and so I'll start drilling them and probably getting them down the lane here pretty quick.
And he asked me if I drilled any global balls yet. I have. I drilled a couple. I've only been practicing with them a little bit. I drilled a what's it called? Volatility Torque, and I drilled a Badger Revival. So they're the two I've drilled so far. I've got a Zen coming on Thursday. So,
and that's the one I think is going to be. Yeah, mine show up the same thing. I think mine are showing up Thursday as well, Wednesday or Thursday. So
we'll see. We're just. I think it's more of a change for Chris than it is for me. I might add the oddball in there. Maybe I'll rethink about it now that I've lost my boo, the idol. And I might add the aspect into the mix, because it was fun. Me and Chris were actually chatting about it a couple of weeks ago, and I said, the aspect looks like a pretty good ball. I just don't really have any use for it because I have a phase 2, I have an idle, and I have an axiom. It's that area just gets very clogged up. Well,
it just got unclogged.
It's opened up a place in my bag and my heart.
And it might fit there. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell until you guys throw it, because I have not thrown an idol. I don't really know.
Somebody said they just wanted. Oh, is AMF still in production? I do not believe so.
It is not at this point. Stu lives in the Austin area.
Yeah.
And so
Pflugerville.
Not a lot of tournaments in Austin itself, but there is a lot of tournaments either 2 hours one way or 2 hours the other way for him.
Or even 2-3 hours that way.
Yeah, between Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas, he is in the mid-range of all of them. Austin, I guess.
It's about driving.
3 hours from here.
Austin's a pretty good place to be if you don't mind driving, because your drive isn't that big. The only time it sucks is when you have to go up to Oklahoma. Then it sucks.
Yeah.
Because that drive's a bit longer than you really want it to be.
But other than Shawnee, there's not a lot of big tournaments there.
No. I mean, the thing is with Shawnee, though, is like Oklahoma does as a state, does a lot for our region.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically every region I've bowled outside of the doubles has been in Oklahoma since I moved here. So, Hey, Kenny, what's going on?
Kenny.
PBA fan in the Ohio area. Jake says he just wants a comparison of the Zen and the Axiom Pearl. From what I've seen, like in my mind, I would think that the Zen is a little more angular. I think that the Axiom Pearl is a little earlier and a little rollier from what I've seen.
That seemed to be more from the demos, because again, you and I haven't thrown them off each other ourselves, but from the demos, that seemed to be.
Yeah, when I see like yours, and then of course it's difficult because Chris uses balls for a lot longer than I do, and it's just a fact. I mean, there's no getting around it. Like a brand new ball is going to be more angular than one you've had 50 games on it. Like I'm not revealing trade secrets here. So watching Mookie Betts last night throw the Axiom Pearl, it looked like the Axiom Pearl was pretty angular, but like my Axiom Pearl was a little, I've got a 2-3 months use on it. So yeah.
Ironically, that's what Mookie threw most of the night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like off your Zen, it looked like the Axiom Pearl was more angular, but that might just be because of how he was throwing it and the fact that his was basically brand new.
He's brand new, and he has a ton more axis rotation than I do. So Nate Garcia joining us this morning.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Can't wait to cross with me on tour. Yeah, well, I'm not sure anybody says that, but nice to say.
Right of him. Although recently, Chris, you've turned into the hook guy.
It's been nice having, the more options we have. I gotta say, bowling the house stuff has changed my mindset again a little bit, and it's gone back more to where I was 10 years ago with some of the strategies and some of the things on tour happen, and you kind of get worked in your head that certain things aren't going to work, and I kind of gotten away from just playing the game the way it's supposed to be played because of the amount of power that there is on tour, that I stayed away sometimes. And I guess we'll find out when we get back all together if that's unnecessarily or not. And
yeah, I feel like, from my perspective anyway, I feel like that you're so good at so many things that you almost are like, well, I don't really have an advantage doing that, so I don't want to do that. But but you might end up being that like you beat those people enough at the start that you can catch up like later on. I feel like for me a little bit, I feel like I fall into that trap. I'm like, I can't help that. I can't beat those guys doing that. Well, I don't necessarily need to. I just need to not lose by a lot. And that's not that difficult sometimes. No, Jake, my wife would have left me in Arizona. No, we all made it too. Curtis, yes, we were talking about this the other day. It's pretty cool. For those of you who don't know, Barstool Sports started it's called the Barstool Fund, and they are funding specifically small businesses. And one of the businesses they chose to fund is a bowling center.
Chaka?
Chaka, yeah, I think that's what it was called. If you go on, if you Google Barstool Fund, you can actually buy a T-shirt for that place at about $25, I think. So it's like it's a cool thing, and it's really cool that he chose bowling as one of the businesses to try and help out. Especially cool after we had Barstool Carl come down to the playoffs. So to continue that kind of, even if it's only a small relationship with the sport, that's been, like I say, that's been pretty good, because it seems like just about everything that they're trying to touch is turning, pretty popular. The Stoolies, as they call their fan base, is pretty loyal to Dave. So yeah.
Joined again by the good and the great.
Oh, Dick, you would have really, really liked to have been there last night. It was fun. We had some prime Barnes action. This was another thing that we were actually talking about. Restarting that in the new year. I think that might be something that Chris tries to get going, because they've got the playoffs coming up. That might be so keep your eyes peeled for that one. There's somebody. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that one myself. It looks awfully good going in the lane. It's a shape that I like to see as well. So hopefully, I've been fooled before though. Jamar, yes, Niner Global has a booyah, and it's also got the stew scammer, the honey badger urethane ball, and that's our purple ball.
He is the number one fan. This is 1A and I'm 1B. Casey Mattingly. Yeah, the X1 is okay.
That's one of those balls that I've seen a lot of posts already about honor scores.
Yeah.
Which is normally a pretty good sign. Hey, okay, we like it. And all right, there's another couple good bowlers, like say Casey and a couple other guys I know are really high on it. And then you start seeing the honor scores pop up in league, and you go, all right, I don't know him, but he likes it, and he likes it, and all right, and she likes it. All right, this one must be pretty good.
Love Jones says, which one of you is more likely to win another title before the other? I don't really care which one it is. I just want it to be the next title.
Fact. Yeah. I'm not against throwing a little in the pot for that one too, just so you know.
Yeah. Craig Kisro. Chris looked pretty good playing the sixth arrow in the 94 high roller sweepers. He was playing the sixth arrow this weekend as well. Him and his special flux hooking the whole lane.
Yeah, that one curves for me.
Somebody's what's your opinion on the proton physics? The proton physics is the strongest ball that Storm and Roto make. The reason why I've actually been drawn to it a little bit more is because I can throw it kind of hard. I feel like it blends out some of these wet dry patterns really well. So last night I was able to move way into the oil and just pitch it to the dry. And because the ball's so strong, it doesn't really over bounce off it. But the thing that's been really unique, I think, about it is how it doesn't really get that bogged down.
It doesn't lock up and just go forward.
Yeah.
It still continues through, which is the same thing I like about that flux, but that's a much cleaner cover than that proton looks really strong. Mm-hmm. I would say that's, without having thrown it, that's probably the strongest of the three brands as well.
Oh yeah, that's, for me, it's easily the strongest ball that we have right now.
DCT notwithstanding.
Sorry?
DCT notwithstanding. But that one's not usable strong for most people.
Yeah, that one's just early, I feel like.
Yeah, it's just really, it does lock up and go very much forward. That's not a shape that people like. That proton physics looks like, if you're somebody who struggles to get the ball to hook and want the ball to pick up more often than not, that seems like a really good ball to have in your bag.
Yeah, and like for me, I was able to use a Plano, and Plano has a lot of friction. When we bowled the foursome, I was able to be fairly successful with it on that. So, yeah, let's quickly spin back around to the Plano over under 40 at the weekend.
Yeah, actually, there's a Kid Rash.
Yeah, him and
very solid.
Had a pretty good event there, coming at one pin short of making it. I was actually a little surprised they were able to bowl together. I didn't realize you could have two overs bowl together.
I don't think Gid's an over.
I guess he isn't.
But I do think the rule is you can have two overs.
Oh, you can. Okay.
That actually is okay.
Oh, okay. I'm just trying to find the results here because the qualifying, the teams that made it, it was another pretty stellar field. AJ Johnson, Dino Castillo went crazy, shot 660 over. Chapman and Bernard. Oh, what a weird thing. AJ Chapman made it. AJ Rice and Tom Hess, Mark Henninger and Brett Cooper, Dimitri Cruz and Billy Rogers, and then Kevin.
Kid has a message for you.
Kevin Bellandaria and Eric Akon were 359 was the cut. So they were 307 in sixth behind first. Put in perspective, 307 behind them came 22nd. So my team came 13th at 284. Chris and Mookie, 222, came 16th. So the matches, they played on what was left. Didn't really work out great for AJ and Dino. They got took down by Billy Rogers and Dimitri Cruz. On the other side, AJ Chapman and Rick Bernard were taken out by AJ Rice and Tom Hess. And I'll be honest, I said to Chris, I said, this is almost pointless to watch. I don't see any way in which the guy with the lowest rev rate and the left-hander can't win. Like, I don't see how they're not going to win. It's just like it's such an advantage to AJ and Hess. And sure enough, I was wrong again. So that was cool. Hess, Tom struggled a little bit late on. He had one errant shot, and AJ Rice 8-pinned in the 10th on the second shot. But Billy still could have Billy got the first strike, and AJ got the first strike. And if AJ struck, Billy needed to strike, but he didn't. So
yeah, that was the best of the pairs that they bowled on. That was the best on the pairs for the right-handers. The ball would actually get through the front still, which made both Dimitri and Billy Rogers much stronger, competitors than.
But even so, I feel like they were still a competitive disadvantage on that pair. Like overall, I felt like they had to bowl better to win that match, just the way it went down. But a one-game match, it is what it is.
If I change my name to AJ, will I finish higher? I'm strongly considering it for about 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now. I may.
I mean, there was 3 AJs in the top 4 in singles.
There's worse strategies out there. I've used most of them at some point.
So just to give you an idea of AJ Johnson's scores, talk about being consistent. 33, 35, 69, 59, 23, 78, 45, and 43 for 385 over.
Yeah, and I think that's really, when you're talking about what changes and how things work and those, that's the biggest difference for him is when he's bowling good right now, his strategies have changed enough in what he's doing that he's brought his floor up considerably. He's always been able to shoot big games. But his bad game now, we were at Houston, and his low game was 240 the first day. Mm-hmm. It's absurd. I don't care what you're bowling on, and they were not hard, but that's a little bit of a tricky building from end to end to do what he was doing, and then he's doing it again.
Oh yeah. The scores I actually read out, they were Johnson's scores.
No, that was AJ Johnson's scores. Well,
yeah, AJ Chapman took a day off that one. He only came third.
Yeah. And AJ's the same way. He's a guy that just seems like I'm actually surprised he hasn't been coming down and bowling more often.
Yeah, we were talking about it, weren't we? It's just I'm glad he's not. I like him.
We certainly don't need another good player down here right now. But he's another guy who he's in that range. He's starting to hit his peak. He's single, so he can travel and go do, he's not tied down with all the family and other obligations. That's a guy that probably should be throwing a ball every chance he gets because he's right in the middle of that run where you can put together something that's pretty special.
Hess says he disagrees. He liked the second pair better. I actually figured it out, Tom. I know why you guys didn't win. It's because you used up all your good breaks to win that Sunday football game. When a guy who'd hadn't missed a kick all season missed a 39-yarder to go to overtime.
Oh, the irony of a Patriots fan begrudging someone else's good fortune.
Oh, no, I don't begrudge it. I don't care because my team's going to finish 6-10. So
you never miss it, though.
Somebody said the other day, and it was quite a fun tweet. It said, "Oh my, Patrick Mahomes, the combination of Tom Brady's luck and Aaron Rodgers' skill." I thought that was quite funny.
That's a pretty true statement right there too. Hess has been a nice role too.
Yeah.
He's on that quiet, slightly under the radar, but his name's at the top a lot right now. He's a good doubles partner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he's the antithesis of me at the minute.
Yeah. You're the new Pete. So you bowl really good. Your partners bowl, don't bowl so great. You run them over and
Chris, have you had a chance to use the reality yet?
I have not.
I'm not even really sure what that is. That's a new core?
Yeah, it is new. Honestly, I don't know a ton about it because I have not seen it yet.
No, I just saw the bump. To be honest, in my mind, when I saw it come, I kind of half expected it just to be another like a volatility talk core.
Yeah.
And then I kind of looked a little bit, and it wasn't. So then I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll find out what my partner in crime thinks of that one.
I should know soon.
Yeah, because I'm in the same position with that new Rubicon UC2.
Yeah.
James says, excited for the Players Championship. I'm excited for this weekend. I don't know about the Players Championship. We've still got bowling going left, right, and center here. So
yeah, we have a great tournament coming up next weekend. So
yeah, well, we've got for me anyway.
Well, you have the whole week.
Yeah, I've got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it looks like I'm picked up something for Saturday. So I'm on first, second, and third, and then the following weekend we're off up to see Chris Skillings in Oklahoma again. Him and Jessica are putting on the snowman doubles. He tried to, I guess, I didn't understand that it was a joke. I thought it was serious when I looked at the schedule because he already had the board in the center made up for the schedule for the snowman doubles, and he had like games at 3 a.m. or something. I'm like, we're going to bowl all night for this thing. But that was Chris's idea of a joke. It was a little too subtle, I think.
He threw it out. He was trying it on for size. A 24-hour, basically finished the tournament in 24 hours. And I'm like, well, if you're going to do that, then this start closer to midday on the second day. You can have, some people get there or do whatever they need to do. But
yeah, let's not.
Yeah, those days for me are probably a little bit past. But
Larry says, any of them live streams? I believe that Omar will have some stuff up on his. He is NDO bowling. So he'll have some stuff up. I don't know about Jay Nephew. Jay's a little in and out. He tends to stream the finals of his stuff, but I don't really know how he's going to film the finals of a Swiss. Jay is Texas Eliminator tournaments. And NDO Bowling is on. He's got tournaments the first, the second, and the third. So Dimitri Cruz's dad might have one also because he's got his tournament down in Angleton that finishes on the New Year's Day, late-ish. Yeah. So it's the toughest to cash, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I mean, as much as we always kind of value the guys you see every day, we're still not the top heaviest.
No,
we have a lot of guys though from 10 to 50. There's a lot of really good bowlers, and there's a lot of guys not on the radar that bowl well an awful lot. Guys like Gid, guys, and the over 50 guys. Let's go. Our Stanford Steve from last week. He bowls good.
Henderson's another really solid player.
Who's that?
Paul Henderson.
Paul Henderson's guy, and he doesn't hardly bowl that much, but he's kind of our PJ Haggerty. A guy's just really good that doesn't, has a job and he does other things.
And then you get other guys who just randomly turn up. I mean, every time I see Greg Derrick, he seems to bowl really well.
Yeah, I mean that's a guy who's my age. He's been good for 30 years. Has bowled good for a lawful long time, and you know, our region is back to kind of what it was 15 years ago, where there was just a bunch of guys that could really bowl, and had decided not to go on tour or been on tour for a little bit and decided to move on, but they're still just good bowlers. And now it's all younger guys that are kind of a lot of younger guys that are getting ready to go that direction.
Brady's asking, what's I guess what your favorite ball in the line is right now?
That Zen is probably the best ball of all of them. The aspect is the one that kind of does a little tricky thing for me that I like, but fits in really well. But yeah, that Zen I think is the best one that is in the global line.
Harry Wright says, pitch black or fast pitch, which you like better? Do you or Chris throw urethane much? This is an interesting question because I think that the fast pitch is more of a bridge. It's don't get me wrong, it's 100% urethane ball. That's not what I'm really saying. I just feel like the pitch black is it hooks early and then it really lays.
It's old school urethane.
Yeah. So, like, unless you've got like a monstrously high two-handed rev rate, the pitch black is very difficult to use. Like, you've really got to reorganize your eyes over what you see. Whereas the fast pitch, I mean, Chapman is going nuts with the fast pitch at the minute.
For 95% of bowlers, the fast pitch is probably the better option because it has some more shape to it. You'll be able to use it on more things. I think it's a pretty specialized skill set that can really use the really early smooth urethane balls unless you're bowling a lot of tournaments on fairly hard or short patterns. The fast pitch is way more usable. Just from the outside looking in, I haven't thrown either one of them.
Yeah, I just feel like the fast pitch is really good. Is really good for guys who can use speed. To change could change how much the ball hooks. Whereas the pitch black, it's a little more difficult to do that because it picks up so early.
Yeah. Interesting question. We hear it a lot, so let's go ahead. But Richie Allen says, would you rather bowl in your assigned region or choose a different one? And my take is this. Because of the situation that we're in with pandemic and different things, I think it's a moot point. The whole idea and the whole reason behind having assigned regions is that you try and limit how much travel takes place. And so you're not flying around and you're not crossing sections. You're with the same groups that you were bowling with anyway, or not bowling with, for the Northeast more or less. But and I think it's impossible to manage. And I know the regions didn't end up particularly fair. Everybody probably feels like they got slighted in one way or the other. But I think it's impossible to choose. By the time where's Belmo and EJ, and everybody's going to want to know where the top guys are going to go.
Yeah, like then you just end up playing hopscotch.
Yeah, and I think it just becomes a shuffling the cards is all you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is I think for some of the guys who it's easy to, like, if they're like borderline between, like, say the South and the East, and they're in the East, if you could easily get to the South, I think it's kind of it's a bit shitty that they're going to have a PTQ and maybe have like 30 or 40 guys in a PTQ for 6 spots if the South isn't even full.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that I have like a slight, if we end up with 56 guys, I don't think we will, but if we did,
right,
and there's like 130 in the East, and one guy wants to come down and play rather than have to be that part of it, and I understand the protocols and I understand all of that and whatever.
Yeah.
That's the only part of it that I think is a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
Jamal Lee is saying the West region is locked down. Vegas and Arizona are not. So
Yeah. It's starting to open up a little bit, but not enough. No doubt.
yeah, I mean, yeah. AJ Chapman says Rick Bernard's won both PBA 50 regionals he's bowled this year as an amateur. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I didn't bowl him, so I don't care. Hi, Rick.
Oh dear. Craig says, this is one for me. How would the original natural fit in with the pitch black and the fast pitch? The original natural is almost like a plastic ball in comparison to those two. Way cleaner. Way less. It doesn't grab the lane anywhere near as much. And the other thing is the original natural shined up so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was cool when it first came out, but I think both of the pitch black and the fast pitch were better. So
yeah, I would agree in general. For the shape you're looking for out of that ball, that was much better options. So
UK added a new restriction tier. I'm top level tier 4 now. Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. Trust me. I understand completely. My parents are stuck in England and they can't get over to see our son. Yeah, it's a shitty situation. And I still think that Manchester City bent the rules so they could get their game postponed, but we'll see. They only had 26 fit players. Oh no, they had to stop. Tina says she hopes AJ and Rick save some strikes for Saturday. Well, T, they hope you'll find some strikes on Saturday. How about that?
there you go. Yeah, I'd worry less about them.
We're going down the rabbit hole now. I'll do this one real quick. Pitch purple hooks a yard. It's really angular. It's really like that. Now that truly is a bridge ball. The only issue is it's almost stronger. It's almost stronger than it's almost strong. It's almost too strong. Like yeah. So pitch purple. If you drilled it, I feel like if you want to use the pitch purple to be down and in, then it's weak. Then that's the better option. But if you drill it stronger, like you need to do with a lot of the urethanes, it just hooks so much. I like the shape. It feels like it forces me too far left. So I think having a better combination is the pitch black and the fast pitch. I think you need to be really speed dominant to use the pitch purple.
The big red machine would never. I don't know exactly what he's referring to, but I'm going to take this with my friend Howard talking about Dak Prescott, and it probably means the red rifle because Andy Dalton will probably be the quarterback for the Cowboys in 2021. So
that's for one of Mookie's friends.
And this is something that basically no one-hander ever wants to see happen. Make urethane balls great again. No, that's not what we need to happen. But once again, all the tournaments you have coming up in Houston, there's a ton in Houston.
Yeah, I just got another one. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted. I was answering questions at the time. I just got a team for the for Jay Nephew's tournament. So yeah, good times.
Wow. Well, there you go.
This is an easy one. The Idol. Yeah, that's not even close. Frankie called me. He's like, I just saw the email. Half my Arsenal disappeared. I'm devastated because he uses the astrophysics probably more than anybody else.
Right.
And he really likes the emerald. And for me, the emerald's good, but it's not. It's a bit of a niche ball for me.
Yeah.
And the astrophysics is like, I'll just find something else. But the Idol is, yeah. How's the weight loss going? It was going really well. Now it's going like, it stalled a little bit.
Considering the holidays, I think you're doing fine. You held court through
Yeah,
the last couple weeks, which is not an easy thing to do.
I just think I need to evolve my system a little bit. Just deciding to not eat like a 12-year-old only gets you so far.
I'm not judging.
Yeah, it's going better than it has at any other point, so that's good.
An interesting take, Trey Autry. Only about 10 guys in the country know how to use urethane properly. In our circles, there's several more than that. But to be fair, when you go to league, there are a whole bunch of people using it that don't need to even a little bit. Just because Anthony Simonson beats the world doesn't mean that a lot of people need to throw it necessarily. But Kid Rash, there you go. Next, which they would ban urethane as his partner was bowling well with a purple hammer. That's about right.
Which Pete?
I think that was that's Thomas.
Well, he was bowling with me.
No. He's talking about Saturday.
Oh, he's talking about Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah.
Danny, my friend from Liverpool, says the purple badger, and then he has to put in the one that you used to beat Stu last week.
The Stu scammer. So it's now referred to only as the Stu scammer. It is a little bit just because it has a core in it. It flares way more than the regular Booyah does. And so to balance that out, I use way more surface on the Booyah than I do on the Badger urethane when it's the only one I have. Because if it had a lot of urethane, it would be super early and it would lock up a little bit. So I can get away with moderate surface, which is probably still light 500 to 1,000.
Greg Thompson says Barnes needs to find an Alpha Crux. Don't we all?
Yeah, that's pretty popular by everybody on tour, I think.
It's one of those things, though. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the X1 is. I know that Darren seems to have unlimited balls of every ball like that. He seems to think that it's more like the physics. Being as the physics was a meh, and the X1 is woo. I'm not sure I necessarily agree. Maybe I need to reevaluate how I use the physics.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the X1's kind of, for me anyway, the X1 fills that gap. It's kind of a mild asymmetrical that I can bowl with on everything. That was kind of how the Alpha Crux was for me. It was never the strongest ball, but it seemed to do pretty much the same on every pattern I bowled on. So that was kind of cool. I use the pitch black all the time, but I bowl some of my best games with a good hook ball, trying to break away from urethanes. I mean, it's just the way the game is. James Graham asked an interesting question. Do you want to take this one, or should I take it?
I think if you are a super rev dominant player, but for the most part in league side, that means you're just really slow speed, then it can be useful. But unless you're bowling on short patterns or you're bowling somewhere like California, typically has very little to no oil outside of 7-8. Maybe not so much now, but it was that way, at least for one while. Very, very blocky. And you're somebody who likes to stand out right on top of that dry. I mean, urethane can be useful that way. But for the most part, people don't have any need or shouldn't be using it in league hardly ever. It's rarely the best option on a league pattern that's already giving you all the help. Urethane it blends it out and it covers mistakes and it minimizes patterns when they're hard. And so really high rev rate guys like it because they can still make it strike. It's easier to hit the pocket with urethane. It's much harder to strike with urethane.
Yeah, I feel like people get confused of urethane being a dry lane ball, and urethane is almost the worst thing you can use on a dry lane.
It hooks earlier than every ball.
Yeah. So For me, what urethane's really good for is urethane is great at creating left for the normal person and basically even the two-handers. The reason why it's so good is that it's much harder to go through the face with it. So that's that to me is what urethane's really good for. You want it on a pattern that's a little flat. Yes, Zeke, I do. Flatter patterns, and it creates left. You don't want something that's dry. It's a blend ball, but it's something that you still need oil in the front part of the lane. So, yeah. Don't know. Send me a message.
Donating a 16-pound physics. Message him. And we need an ink PX. Well, I don't know that we do. And we will never see one again. Since that technology did not stay together and cost Columbia $1 million, probably plus.
Yeah.
Just to update the manufacturer to make it possible, and then another big chunk when they all fell apart. We won't see that again.
Can you quickly tell the funny story about when you went to test them and they had a couple of other versions?
Oh my God. Yeah, they had 2 lanes in the old Columbia plant. And so they picked the one that they went with, which was cute, but it was really a for the most part. It was just okay. So I threw that one. I threw this, and I threw a couple other ones that hooked more, including the one that was coming out next, which I think would have been way better. And then I threw the one that they had after that. And I threw it, and it got to the arrows, and it just went left. And it was in the gutter at 40 feet. It looked like they didn't run the lane. But I'd just thrown a ball 30 seconds before that. And I turned around and went, "What the is that?" And they said, "But wait." And they ran it. They ran the machine again and again and again. So they put 4 times as much oil. So now I throw this original, the one they went, the original EPX, and it barely hooks now. It's a dot, as Daria says. And I throw the new one, and this time I got down to where I almost hit the 7-pin. And my mind starts spinning. I'm like, oh my God, if we can get this thing right, they can't put enough oil on the lane to stop this ball from hooking. We're going to be good for a decade or more. I mean, oh my God.
And the thing was, I was on Columbia staff when that ball came out, and I took it to the first tournament that they were around in Patrick Backe's bowling center in Helsingborg, and I bowled the first squad, and the first one I got hooked a ton.
Yeah.
And I was like an arrow left of everybody, and everybody's like, "What is that ball?"
Right.
By the time the finals started, it didn't hook an arrow more than everybody else's ball.
No.
Because it got that black line where the track was. And I didn't realize that I had to go and put it in a bucket of warm water to make it hook again.
Yeah. It was definitely a little bit more of a high maintenance effort to keep that one right. But it was pretty cool for a little while.
It smelled so bad. Oh
yeah. It smelled like a GTB from way back time machine days.
Chemicals.
Yeah, I think you're shortening your life when you're drilling that ball.
Harry says, do you ever use spec cover balls for spec? The only one that I really liked, actually, of the spec cover balls, the Belmo ball, the ProMotion, was fantastic on the PBA League. I felt like that one was great if I could use slower speeds. I felt like it smoothed everything out and was good. But the only time that I've really used one extensively, I use a Crux Prime, and I use it shiny. And I like it on the shorter patterns, like on Cheat or a Wolf, where I can kind of throw it at the gutter. But because that cover the cover and the weight block are kind of rolly, I feel like that's the way I've used spec. But I mean, that's another cover that's a little hard to maintain, I guess.
Yeah. Why didn't I bowl the Dirty Rover singles? That was the Thanksgiving tournament, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've run a youth tournament for the last 16 years, and so I was at Plano, and we ran the Barnes Thanksgiving Youth Classic and gave out $22,000 to youth bowlers that weekend. And so I did not go down there. Sound like it was a pretty good tournament. I think Jeff Hartsfield always does a pretty good job, and he's one of a few different tournament organizers now that's making bowling around the Texas area a lot of fun. And there's given a ton of us something to play for in a time when there's not really any professional bowling to be had, except for regionals. And I think Pete's doing a pretty good job of putting on regionals for us and giving us things to bowl. I think we are really lucky to be in an area between Oklahoma and Texas where we're getting to play, and people are being smart. And so, knock on wood, we have not had a lot of cases or any kind of widespread issues from bowling in these tournaments.
Billy says, which of you have the better record between you? Oh, it's not even close. Chris owns me. It's not even close. I've caught a couple of Weber Cup wins that have been fun, but yeah, Chris beat me on TV in the Viper. He's got 300 against me in Japan. Yeah, Chris.
I guess so, huh? Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't have said that it's all that much different, but I guess.
Yeah, it is. It's okay.
All right.
Dalton says, this is a guy I bowl league with. He says, I was looking around his stuff. What would be a good route? I don't think anybody can ever go wrong with a phase 2. I think pretty much everybody likes the phase 2. So as a solid ball, I think that's a pretty good. I think that one's one I can recommend without feeling guilty.
James Graham question.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When a ball gets discontinued, and a lot of tour guys do they have any say to keep it around? And generally, no. Sales drives all that, and that's the reason why tour guys are on staff, is to push sales. And so while it still may be a useful ball on tour, say an Alpha Crux, which is super useful on tour, but it wasn't particularly useful in a league situation for enough players.
Yeah, it just run its course.
So it's run its course. And so you replace the ball with something. There hasn't been anything exactly like that, but there's different balls that kind of fill the void, and that's why the tour guys are who they are, and their staff found a different way to create those same different shapes. And so the sales drives everything, because ultimately that's how you get paid. And the one thing the tour guys don't do is they don't buy bowling balls. So
I mean, I think the thing is with Storm, I think that they do a very good job of communicating to us. Like, it's not personal that they're getting rid of a ball. It's, hey, there's a certain number, and they obviously don't tell us what that number is, but there's a certain number. And if they're not selling that ball, there's a certain number each month. Once it goes so many months, whatever their rule is, then it's gone.
Yeah.
And the balls that stay are the ones that they sell whatever they need to.
Not many high roads that stick around for 10 years.
No,
I mean, completely unheard of for a ball to stick around for 2 or 3 years. So.
Yeah, and like Storm have a lot of them. High Road Pearl, Phase 2, the Idol till just recently. They've been around for a while, and they're successful balls in the line. But once people stop buying them, it's time to find out something else.
Super quick. I'm sorry, that wasn't the one I meant to answer. I am over 50. I actually was last February, and so got to bowl no tournaments. I have still not bowled a national, or even, I guess I bowled the under 50 regional. That was the first PBA event I bowled as that. I don't think there's any way they can do that until we know where things lie. Generally speaking, historically, the PBA 50 tour has been a summer type tour. And so it'll be 2 or 3 months probably. We're hearing rumors of 15, 16 tournaments, so that would be great. But we'll see what happens.
Just one second. Hey, Brady, You're just turning, one more year of eligibility, and you live in Arizona, looking to bowl as much as possible. I'm going to put a link in here to the Storm Youth Tournament. That seems to be
the SYC
all over the country. I hope that it doesn't look like it wants to post for whatever reason. Anyway, basically the SYC, the website is stormbowling.com/SYC. They have, I don't know whether it may well be sold out because the tournaments are crazy how quickly they sell out, but there's one in Fort Worth in April. There's one, I guess, Kansas City. There's one in Wichita in September. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how far you want to travel, but yeah, it's been amazing. They had even last year they had 1, 2, 3, 4. They had 5 events last year. They had a couple that had to be canceled in Delaware and Minnesota. But you know, it's been an amazing product that Storm have put together. Very competitive. People from all over the country are bowling them. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Storm's social media is a really good place to see. Just to see all of the information of when those tournaments go live. If you decide you want to play one, just be aware that you probably need to enter in the first 24 hours, or else you're probably not getting in.
There you go. A couple of friends want to. What do you think Belmo's odds of making it in the West next month?
They have him at 300 to 1.
It'd be 1 to 300, I believe.
Oh, I mean,
I'm assuming.
I mean, that's a little strong. I mean, I think he'll make it, but I mean, Christown isn't the easiest bowling center to bowl in. I mean, it's only 5 spots. It's not like it's 50 spots.
Right. It's still pretty unlikely he wouldn't make it.
I get it. No, I agree. Yeah. I mean, he makes the step ladder on the PBA tour 40, what is it, like 52% of the time in majors or something?
Yeah, so, I mean, he's a 1 to 2 favorite almost.
Yeah, I mean,
2 to 1 is his actual odds, which means by the time you put that on, yeah. So anyway, he's a substantial favorite to make it without all the rest. So
AJ Chapman's texting me, giving me a hard time because someone had asked whether I was where it was specifically this comment: are you and Chris bowling the over 50s? No, I'm not 50. I'm not even 40 yet. So
I missed it. I didn't know
Chapman's like tapped me up, man. If only I'd have known, I'd have asked you for some of these over tournaments.
Man, we should have. That's what happened. Well, you lose weight, and then all of a sudden you get some wrinkles and some stuff because you start.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I shaved, because my beard was getting too gray.
Yeah.
I haven't quite got the salt and pepper thing going on yet. It's not the whole thing. It's just
you have a ways to go to catch Gaines. Gaines has been about 72 since he was about 38. So.
Okay, well, I think it's been a really good show today. We've had a lot of people in. I think we should probably wrap it up now.
I want to thank some of the people that stopped in and said hi this time too. We had Renee Walker who runs the bowling center there at AMF Louisville. They did a great job last night. Appreciate all their help. Tim Fluffer, a Pfeiffer.
To start with that, I
get his job confused with his name sometimes. Huh?
I thought there was somebody called Fluffer.
No.
That's fine.
No. That's just his job. Several. I saw some of the tour guys and some other guys have been in here. Some of the old David Smith and a couple of those guys that used to be part of our regional group that had bowled on tour. That was it was a tough crew. So thank you guys for showing up and coming in. I guess we had one more thing. We're going to start up with a stat of the day. So if you have some interesting or unique stats or different things, feel free to add it, bowling wise or not. Stu came up with one yesterday that I thought was that caught my attention. We were talking about TVs, and you see these TVs and like, all right, 65, 75, gosh, 85-inch TV. Yeah, but really, I mean, it doesn't look that big when you're standing in the middle of a Best Buy or a Sam's Club or Costco, whatever. And but to give you perspective, that an 85-inch TV is both taller and wider than Shaq.
Corner to corner, an 85-inch TV is basically the same height as Shaq. I believe Shaq's 7'1". That put it in perspective for me. 7'1".
That's a big TV.
Yeah.
So,
and it doesn't sound 7'1" sounds so much bigger than 85 inches.
Yeah. I have a Shaq TV.
Yeah.
And so, that is your stat of the day.
Yep. I think that Facebook has caused some issues with me posting, and it's messed everything up, and we're not getting any comments through anymore. So with that and start of the day, I guess it's bye-bye from me. On Thursday, I think we're going to do a review of the year. I think we're going to kind of focus it a little bit on bowling balls, just because, people like bowling balls, and I'm going to try and put together some stuff that might be some fun. Yeah, we'll see. I might do a post. We might do a giveaway tomorrow. I might do a post. Guess which ball is the most popular this year on the PBA telecasts. And yeah, we'll see. But with that.
That sounds great. And so I appreciate it once again. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate, and things went well for you and your family. Again, you can go to beefandbarnzy.com to get T-shirts like Stu wears, or even like these here. And again, support those small businesses, especially those bowling centers. Get them through this tough time. And if you would, when you have a choice, support our sponsors: Storm, Rotogrip, Niner Global, Vice Turbo, Coolwick, 3G Shoes, Dexter, Master, and Bowler Smart. Much appreciated. Thanks again for watching today. And until Thursday, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless.